Hey crafters, are you looking for a card that looks really fancy but is crazy easy? Well, today is a video for you. Hi, I'm G with Creative Moments by G, and today we're going to make a chevron card. Now, our version, we feel, is the easiest chevron card you'll ever make. So let's head down to the crafting table. Let's do this. Just to show you what the chevron card looks like, it has this design right here on it. We do that by cutting 5 strips of pattern paper. It is so easy. So let me show you how you're going to make this card. The cards we're going to make together today are top fold cards. So this is just 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2. But I want to remind you, all you have to do is click below the video, measurements and supplies, and it'll take you right to our website, creativemomentsbyg.com, and we'll have all the measurements for you. So what we're going to do is take 5 strips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you want to make sure and pick a design that you really like the back side of the paper as well. And I really like this design. Look how pretty that is. Now we have our 5 strips. 3 of them will be folded one way and 2 will be folded just the opposite. And that's because these 2 strips right here connect these 3 strips to give us that zigzag look. So let's do this. Now, you need to decide, what do you want displayed right here in the middle? And I want this on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and turn these over, and I'm going to do just the opposite on this one. So this is going to be the middle part of our strip once we fold it. So our first one, we're just going to take it and fold this over. Now you want to line it up just right, and you don't even need your bone folder. Just use your fingernail. But if you want to, bring in your bone folder, give it a good crease. But you don't need to do that. Now on the bottom part, we're going to do just the opposite. So fold this corner to the right. Use your fingernail. Now look at that. You see how we folded that? Let's do another one. We're going to take this right corner and we're going to fold it down, forming a triangle. Go right to that edge, and that helps you line it up. Once you have it to the edge, crease it. Now take this bottom left hand and fold it up. We're just forming a little triangle, and crease it. So here we have these 2 pieces, and they both have the same slant, right? Now we're going to take this 3rd piece. We're going to take the right-hand corner, and we are going to fold it down right to that edge of the strip. We're going to use our fingernail, give it a good crease. We're going to take this left-hand side right here and fold it up. And give it a good crease with your fingernail. And now we have our 3 strips completed. Now on these 2 strips, I want it to be just a little bit different. I want this in the middle. So instead of taking the right side and folding it down, we are going to take the left side and fold it over, just creating that triangle, and give it a good crease. Now we took the left-hand side and folded it over. Now we're going to take the right-hand side. So you're doing just the opposite, and use your fingernail. Now you can tell that that's different, right? Okay. We're only doing 2 strips like this. We're taking the left side and folding it over to line up with the straight edge right there. And now on the bottom, we're taking the right and folding it over to the straight line. Now look at that. And it's really a good idea to put them in line just like this. And that way you know that you have them the right way, because you only need 2 of these strips to be opposite of your strips up here. And that's because they are connecting these together. Now, the next thing we wanted to do is we picked our colors, right? And so I have this beautiful kind of light pink. It's called petal pink. And I'm going to put that right on the top of my card. But first, I want to go ahead and emboss it. And I am using exposed brick because I wanted it to be a subtle embossed mat. And look at that. So pretty though. So now what I want to do is I want to lay these strips down on my mat to get everything lined up perfectly. So let's just move these to the side. And I'm going to take one of my 3 strips and I'm just going to line it up in the corner, just like that. So let's add some glue. Now, you can use a tape runner if you want, but I want to wiggle, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use some of this glue. Now I'm using some different kind of glue. I'm trying out some new glues to see what I like. So we're just going to line this up straight, just like this. I'm putting it in the corner. I'm lining it up straight right there. See this flap? And now you need to get one of the connectors right here, because it's going just like this. It's going to connect it. We're going to put some glue on the back side, and that allows me to wiggle. I'm just going to line the 2 up together, just right next to each other, and push it down. So far, so good. And we just continue. We take one of the top ones, we add our glue to the back, and we just line it up. Now we take the last connector, and the reason I call them a connector is they are connecting those 3 strips together by going the opposite direction. We're just going to line this up, and we have one more, our last strip. Now remember, this comes from the 3 strips that we folded the same way. And look at that design, such a cute design. After you see the second one, you will feel so confident in making these chevron cards that you're going to want to make them in all colors. I know it. So the next thing we want to do is just add this to the front of our card. Now I'm just going to bring in my glue, add some glue to the back, and get this laid down. Now, we wanted to decorate ours just a little differently, so I'm going to add a flower right there. And I have already stamped my flower. And I'm going to bring in some Granny Apple Green blends, a blue, just a very light blue, which is Azure Afternoon. And then I'm bringing in 2 colors. I'm bringing in a light Flirty Flamingo and a light Petunia Pop to give me some definition. Now remember how I paint our flowers. We just go ahead and we flood our flowers with the light color, and then I go back in and I do the definition. Now I'm going to bring in the darker color, and I'm using the pencil nib this time. And I'm just going to go around the edges of the flower just to add some definition. And look at how pretty that two-step process looks. It looks like some definition on the flower. So pretty. So let's go ahead and do that to our leaves. I'm going to bring in the light granny apple, and I'm going to use the brush nib. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm twisting my wrist, so I'm going to bring in my sticky mat. I'm going to put this on my sticky mat. And I'm just going to bring in, they call this a quilting table, and this way I can just turn it as I color it. Makes it so much easier. These two items, if you're interested, are over in our Amazon store, but check below this video, I'll have the link for you. So now we're going to bring in our blue, and we're just going to make these flowers pop. Now we're going to bring in some dark granny apple green, and I'm going to just go over the veins in the leaves. Because these flowers look just a little flat, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the dark azure afternoon, and I'm just going to add some definition around the edges. Now I'm going to peel this up, and I already have one that I colored the exact same way cut out. So we are going to add this right here on the front. This is the stamp set I used for this, and I think I may have one of the leaves already cut out. So let's use that just to give it a little bit more. So I'm going to bring in my silicone mat. I'm going to bring in my tape runner and just add a little bit of tape right here. And now I'm going to put this behind it, just to let it peek out just a little bit. And now I can cut this off. So I'm just going to hold this up and cut that off. Now let's add this to the front of the card. Look at that. I'm going to set it up on some dimensionals. So I have the dimensionals. You don't have to add a lot. We're just going to line this up. Now it can't go over the card. And look at how pretty that looks. So pretty. But let's go ahead and finish the inside. This is already white, and you could leave it, but it's a little flimsy. So I'm going to go ahead and double mat this, just like this, and stamp a message inside. Now, here's a little tip for you. When you have a sentiment, and you're going to put it right here, it just kind of blends in, doesn't it? Go ahead and grab one of your markers, and I'm going to use the brush nib, and I'm just going to run it along the edge, just to give it a little border. And notice how I'm running it horizontally. That way you won't get it inside where your sentiment is. Of course, you can dip it in your ink, but the ink doesn't dry as fast as the blends do, and so you might just make a mess. So let's just go ahead and add this just like that. And I think I'm just going to add it with a few mini dimensionals. But let's go ahead and just add the inside mats. And here is our first chevron card. What do you think about that? This is just a very different kind of design to have on the front that's very interesting. that adds that special dimension, and it looks so fancy, but it is crazy easy to do. Are you ready to make a second card with me? Let's do this. So our next card, we are taking a top fold Night of Navy or dark blue, and look at what we've done to the map. This is gorgeous gray bar, our beautiful purple, and we have used So Swirly, and we are just going to add that right to the front of our card. And then bring in your 5 strips. Now remember, 3 of them will be folded the same way, and 2 of them, because they are connectors, will be folded just the opposite. So let's go ahead and fold our 3 first. Now, you need to decide once again, what do you want showing? Right here, this pink part right here. What do you want on the flaps? It all depends on what you want your design to look like. And I think I want, on the large ones, on 3, I want my green stripes to be in the middle, and I want my flowers to be on the folded part. So we are going to take our right side and fold it over to line up with the straight line, and use your fingernail to crease it. Then we're going to do just the opposite on the bottom. Take the left side, fold it over to where it lines up on that straight line, and use your finger to crease it. We're going to leave that right there. Now we have 2 more. We're going to take the right side and fold over to the line and crease. Take the left side, fold it over, and crease. And you're lining it up with that straight edge right there. And you can use your fingernail. You don't even need a bone folder. So we're going to go ahead and take this one. We're taking the right side and folding it over to the straight edge and creasing it with our fingernail. Then we're taking the bottom left and folding it over and creasing it. And now we have our 3 main pieces, just like that. Now remember, these 2 bottom ones are connectors. They connect these 3 pieces together. So we do just the opposite. That's why I think do your 3 strips first and then move into your second grouping. This time, we're starting on the left-hand side. Now, you can leave this to be flowers, or you could flip it. This time, let's see the difference. Let's go ahead and leave it just like we have it. Let's take our left side and fold it over to the straight edge and crease. So we start with our left. Down at the bottom, we're going to do our right. We're doing just the opposite. And crease. Once again, we're going to take the left and fold over and crease, just using your finger. We're going to take the bottom right, fold over, and crease. And there we have it. Now all we have to do is add it to our mat. So let's bring in our mat. Let's bring in our first group. Here's group 1. Here's group 2. Let's bring in one of our strips from group 1, and let's line that up on the edge just like this. So grab your glue. I'm just lining it up straight, just like that. You see how this triangle point goes down? There we have it. Now we need a connector, so you need to grab one from down here. Go ahead and put some glue on it. And we're going to line up this straight line with this straight line. We're zigzagging, right? Look at that. Next, we're going to grab from group 1, put some glue on it, line it up, grab the connector, put some glue on it, line it up, the straight lines go together, and finally the second connector, add some glue to it, and look at that. See these little tabs come up? How pretty, right? But we need some flowers on there. We need some pretty decorations. And what we've decided, we used Impressions of Bloom. This is such a beautiful flower. It's a 2-step process, so you don't have to use any blends or markers to color it. And let's look at what that looks like. Let's grab 2 different color blues, and we're going to stamp, just so you can see how it stamps, the background first. So tap, tap, tap. And now we're going to come in with a darker color, which is Night of Navy, and just line it up. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at that. Now let me show you the other color we picked. We picked purple, so we have Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather. This time, we are taking the background, tap, 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 just adding it, very light, bringing in Gorgeous Grape. Look at that. You don't have to color, you just use 2 stamps and it does the work for you. We already have these cut out. Look at that. We also cut some leaves out just so we could have a little bit of something behind it. And look at that. Now all we need to do is add our sentiment, and our sentiment we're going to put right there. Look at that. So pretty. But let's decorate the inside. And let's go ahead and stamp a few little flowers very quickly. I think I'll stamp the blue one. And what do you think about these Chevron cards? So easy, yet they look so fancy. Find yourself a flower that you can double stamp and you don't have to even color it if you have a stamp set like that. Now, I showed you this card earlier. Oh my goodness, but look at the matte. Look at how pretty that embossing goes. And finally, we have this one. Look at our chevron. This is just such a cute design and so quick that you could make a batch of these cards. So take a moment and leave a comment. Which is your favorite? Well, thank you so much for spending your Tuesday with us. We know there's lots of choices out there and we sure appreciate you. We hope that you were inspired by this chevron card design because we really were, and we plan on making some batches of these cards. So until next time, Monty and I wish you lots of creative moments. Bye-bye.